Oh, hello. My name is Mara, and welcome to Books Like Whoa. Yeah, so it's that time of month where I have the, real reckoning with myself that you guys get to watch of this addiction that I have of buying books. This month is no exception. I have probably about 30 books here, and actually I have ordered more that just haven't arrived by the time I'm filming this. So like, you'll see that for next month. I already have like 10 books for next month's. Whatever, let's just keep moving forward. I've actually like gotten my life together this time and sorted this into books I got from Amazon, books I got from the used bookstore, plus a gift book, and books I got from book outlets. So let's start with the ones I got from Amazon because they're the ones that I'm like most excited about. Yeah, so what I got from Amazon was a penguin cloth cover set of Charles Dickens, and I have had my eye on this particular set for some time. It's the most expensive of the sets offered, but I finally decided I really wanted these, and I hadn't gotten myself a housewarming present really. So I know I moved like a couple months ago, but like I wanted this as my housewarming present, and I finally like the price dipped down to a more reasonable range, and I was like, fuck this, I'm just gonna do it. And I did, and I'm so excited. So let me tell you which all ones I have. They're all so beautiful, and they replaced a couple of books I had, so that's good too. So I got to get rid of a couple of books because I replaced them. So that makes it justified, right? Yes. Okay, we've got Bleak House, Hard Times, and I love the color scheme of this one and the little horsies. I think they're really cute, which is ironic considering it's for Hard Times. But anyway, A Tale of Two Cities, classic. Nice big old meaty book here. I haven't read this since I was probably about 8 years old. I know I had no idea what was really happening in the book the first time I read it, so I should read this like for real. Anyway, Great Expectations, which is gorgeous with these chandeliers, and this is my favorite Dickens that I've ever read. I really love this book. I have a lot of affection for it. Young Mr. Herbert is my personal favorite character in this, but yeah, I love this book. Then we have Oliver Twist, which I've never read this book, so I do definitely need to get around to that, but I love all the pocket watches, very apropos based on what I do know about the book, and yeah, I need to read this at some point. And then, of course, the classic A Christmas Carol and Other Christmas Writings. So I've read A Christmas Carol, but I don't know that I've ever read other Christmassy things from him, so I'll have to do that. Anyway, this was a real indulgence, but it's one I've been thinking about for 6 months, so I feel good about, like, I waited until the price was where I wanted it to be, and it was something I really wanted, so I feel good about it. I'm just happy because I really wanted this. Okay guys, I don't know what I was thinking, but I totally forgot to tell you guys that I got Not That Bad, which is edited by Roxane Gay. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year. It's Roxane fucking Gay, so like I am pumped. I have not yet gotten the chance to read it, but I ordered that bad boy new. I used my Amazon points, bing bang boom, we are all a winner. Okay, on to the book I received as a gift. Now, I've mentioned this gal before on this channel because I was doing a buddy read with her and some other ladies of Truth Witch last month. Amanda Ventures at the Naughty Librarian, and I'm never sure which she really wants to be known by because her actual channel name, I believe, is Amanda Ventures 1, and but like what she calls her channel is the Naughty Librarian. Anyway, I should ask her that. But anyway, she was really sweet because we had been mentioning in the Voxer chat we had going some stuff about paranormal romance, and Sherrilyn Kenyon came up, and I said, oh, I've actually never read her, always meant to, but just haven't gotten around to it. And I guess she was at an event where Sherrilyn Kenyon was signing books, so she got me a signed copy. Signed, yes, see, signed. And it was just so sweet of her to think of me, so she sent me this. I actually already read this and enjoyed it. It's not quite my, like, lane for paranormal romance, but I'm glad to have it as a more angsty version of what I normally read, but not too angsty version. Like, not too much angst. Like, I will throw her into the rotation on occasion. I enjoyed this one, and there's another one I've always heard is really good from her called Fantasy Lover. What a title. That I might be the next one I dip into whenever I go back to Sherrilyn Kenyon. But anyway, it was just so sweet of Amanda to think of me, and I'm glad that I had, you know, kind of the impetus to go ahead and give Sherrilyn Kenyon a shot. Oh, and I will link Amanda's channel below if you want to check her out. We actually both hit 1,000 subscribers on the same day, so we had like are sharing our like 1,000th anniversary together, and she's really great. If you enjoy like fantasy or paranormal romance, I think you definitely should check her out. And YA, she does read a bit of YA. So you just check her out. She's great. She has great energy, and she just is always like going to events and like getting things signed and all that stuff. She's got a great channel. Definitely go check it out. Okay, now let's move to my used bookstore finds. I had such a good used bookstore outing because the reason I consider it to be so good is because I got books that were on my list of things that I wanted to pay cash money for free because I got to use my trade credit at the used bookstore. And like, let's just get to the first one because it's like the holy grail of a used bookstore find. So I found not only this collection of Flannery O'Connor works, but this is the exact edition that I wanted, and I am pretty sure that this book is brand new because like if it's used, it is barely used. Oh, guys. So it says $17.50 here, but that's a lie. I got this for free. So this is now, I have everything I need from her in one volume, which I think is so great. So I'm going to actually be able to unhaul a couple of books that I still had that were in paperback. So I have everything in hardback, and this retails, I think, for like $30. Instead of paying $30, I got it for free. I'm so smug about this. But anyway, this includes both of her novels, Wise Blood and The Violent Bear It Away, and then it also has both of her short story collections, and her short stories are what I am like fucking obsessed with. I think the very first review I ever did on this channel was of A Good Man Is Hard to Find, that collection from her, and that's in here, as well as Everything That Rises Must Converge. And then it also has essays and letters from her, and I need to figure out which letters are here and which essays, because I actually may be able to get rid of both of those that I have from her. So anyway, this was like, yes, like this is the book nerd equivalent of like a touchdown. This was extremely exciting. Another exciting find was a very nice used, I mean, like, I can tell that this has been read, but like a very good condition of the Everyman's Library edition of Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Now, I don't know how it is in other countries, but in the US, I think it's like impossible to graduate from high school and certainly impossible to graduate from college without having been made to read this. Like Okonkwo, Yam King, where we at? And I think that this gets, essentially this book has been put in the position of being like the book about Africa that white students have to read, or like the book by a person of color that white students have to read. And I think because of that, sometimes people are critical of it because it's not a perfect book. But that being said, the reason why so many people are made to read this is because this is a really good book that has a lot of layers and a lot of nuance to it, and I think really puts you, like, I think it raises in a non-pat way a lot of really interesting questions about colonialism and the idea of cultures changing over time and what that means for people who are kind of caught in the crosshairs, and what happens when cultures change in a way that we generally think is good, but it's in conflict with traditional ways. So anyway, it raises a lot of interesting questions. This is a fantastic book that I've read, I think 3 times already, just for like school related things, but I'm really glad to have like a beautiful edition of it, and it's a great book. Okay, next I got this kind of old-timey hardback of the selected stories of Eudora Welty. The reason I did this is because I am a Southerner. I was born in the South, and I came back to the South a couple of years ago, and I love Southern literature, particularly Southern short stories, and just generally, side note, I'm somebody who loves short stories. You guys, I'm sure, know this about me already. Whenever I'm trying a new author, and Eudora Welty will be a new author for me to try, if I can try short stories from them, that's where I like to start, because I think that's where, for me, because voice and style is so important to my reading, it gives me an opportunity to kind of get to know the author in terms of like how they write before I judge them on how they tell a long story. So for me, whenever I have the chance to do short stories, I do that. So that's why I picked this up, because I've never read Eudora Welty before. I've always really wanted to, because she's like a great Southern writer who I've not read yet, and because I'm thinking about, and you guys can let me know if anybody's interested in this idea of doing Southern September, where I read like kind of a great work of Southern literature every week in the month of September. I don't know, you guys can let me know what you think about that, but I might do it regardless of what you think, but if you're interested in that, definitely let me know. But anyway, I am really excited to read this probably in September. And yeah, she's just one that I've always meant to get to, so I'm glad to have like kind of what for me I think will be the perfect introductory text for her. Okay, and then here's another one that made this a very good trip to the used bookstore. I found Red Rising and Golden Sun used beautiful, like almost new copies at the used bookstore. This is a series that I've been wanting to try just because people fucking love it here on BookTube, and it does sound like something that I would enjoy. It pushes me a little out of my comfort zone in terms of genre, but not too much. And I've been on a Voxer chat with Leanna at Leanna's library, and she's obsessed with this. She and Lauren at the Novel Lush are both hosting a read-along right now of this series, which if I get my act together, I might be able to hop in midstream with them. But anyway, if you're interested in that, you should definitely go check those out. I'll link their channels below. But anyway, I was on a chat with her, and she had been talking about, we'd had like a long chat about a certain part of this, and then when I saw it at the used bookstore, I was like, oh, perfect. So I, messaged her and was like, okay, you win. I finally have them. I don't have to wait at the library anymore. So this was a great find. I've been looking for this at the used bookstore for the last few months, and so I was excited to finally see them. Then I got a physical copy of The Passage by Justin Cronin. Now, I'd already bought this as an ebook because it was on sale, I think, for like $1.99. And I have always since this came out, I always heard such great things about it, and I always meant to get to it. And then Dane at Dane Reads mentioned in his like, hey, books that I'd like to buddy read video, which was such a cool idea. I should definitely do that later when I have more time for buddy reading. I thought that was a great video idea. But anyway, I was the only person who was like, hey, I want to read that. So I think he and I are going to read this in the last half of July. So anyway, I just kind of thought, I have the ebook, but it would be nice, like, for when I do the review to actually have a physical book. It's only $2.50. I had trade. So yeah, I have a physical copy of this as well as an e-copy now. And then the last thing that made this such a good trip to the used bookstore is that I had been thinking about going ahead and picking up a physical copy of The Broken Girls by Simone St. James, just because this was such a hit for me. I believe I read this in April. I absolutely loved this book, and yeah, so I got it for free to me, and yeah, I really recommend this. I think I put this in my April wrap up. Yeah, this was like my biggest hit in April, and I definitely will be talking about this in my favorite books of spring. But anyway, I saw it and I was really excited because I'd been thinking about actually buying a physical copy, and now I got to get one for free. Okay, and now we move into the book outlet phase of things. So first up we have Serial Killers, The Method and Madness of Monsters by Peter Vronsky. He also has one about female serial killers that I kind of want to get. But anyway, I got this because I've been listening to a lot of true crime podcasts, and this book has been mentioned several times as like one of the best kind of books about serial killers. I'm writing something right now that involves a serial killer-ish. So anyway, I want to read this because I've heard it's good and for research purposes. Next, I see a couple of books that I've already read that I just wanted to have hardback physical copies of. One is Night by Elie Wiesel, classic memoir about the Holocaust. I believe you saw me unhaul my paper copy of this probably about 6 months ago, and I saw on Book Outlet there was a nice physical copy, so, knew it would come around into my life eventually. And also I got a hard copy of Ilona Anders' White Hot, which is the second book in her Hidden Legacy series. Now these covers, guys, are an abomination before the Lord. They are so bad, and they put so many people off from reading them because these are really good urban fantasy. This is a really good urban fantasy trilogy, which just got expanded, and I'm very excited. There's a novella coming out at the end of the year, and then there's going to be a couple more books about Nevada's sister, Catalina, I believe is her name, and I'm so excited because there's so many interesting side characters in this trilogy, and so one of them is getting her own books. Anyway, so any Ilona Anders I can have in hardback, I'm gonna get. I also have a copy of Wildfire coming. You'll see that next month. Even though this is a terrible cover, I wanted to have it in hardback, and now I do. Okay, and then a couple of SFF choices that I've been intrigued by for various reasons and decided just go ahead and get. So I have The Old Man's War by John Scalzi. This is often cited as like one of the best space operas that's been written in recent years. Like, it's sort of a modern classic in the sci-fi genre. The classic of modern science fiction. There you go. And this is like a cool, I think, like anniversary edition. So I want to read this someday. So I thought, okay, I'll get like the cool anniversary edition of it. Then we have The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. Patrick Ness is someone who I've actually never read before, though I do now have The Name of the Wind. I got that last month at the used bookstore. But this is a YA thing he did, and I think it involves like monsters and like gods and stuff at a school, and I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So I've seen kind of mixed reviews about this on BookTube, but like I'm intrigued by it and I wanted to give it a shot. Then we have Carter and Lovecraft by Jonathan L. Howard. Now I'm going to be 100% honest, I don't really know a whole lot about this other than apparently it is a series because I've seen the second one on Book Outlet now, but I love Jonathan L. Howard. Like, I really enjoy his Johannes Cabal series. So I've been wanting to read more from him, like a different series. And then it mentions Lovecraft and has like all the tentacles on the front. And then somebody is inheriting a bookstore. So all of those things together were enough for me to be like, yes, I would like to read you. And then I have a beautiful edition of I Capture the Castle, like a beautiful hardback edition. Now I've never read this book before, but this, along with a couple of other titles, is probably in my top 5 of like, girl, you've not read that yet? That is so up your alley. How have you not read that? You would love it. So I'm pretty confident that I'm going to love this. It was a beautiful edition, and while I do own this as an ebook, I think having the physical copy may kind of incentivize me to get to it more quickly. So yeah, it's a beautiful object, and it's one that I'm like extremely confident that I'm going to really, really enjoy. And then a couple of mysteries in soft cover, which isn't usually my thing, but I've heard one of these is by Simone St. James, so Lost Among the Living. You just heard me raving about The Broken Girls. I want to read more from her, and this was like, I think $2 on Book Outlet, so I was like, yeah, let's just do that instead of worrying about waiting for it at the library. This probably will not be one that I keep, but I'm happy to have like an actual copy of it to get through at some point. And then in the Bleak Midwinter, this is a book, again, that I've just heard recommended to me so many times as something I would really love. It's the pairing of like the local small town cop is the hero, and then his Watson is a female Episcopalian priest. I think it's in like Vermont or New Hampshire or like upstate New York, something like that. People absolutely love this series. So, you know, it's the first book, again, I think it was like $2 or $3 on Book Outlet. So I really wanted to give it a try. I've heard such good things about this entire series. So I'm hoping, maybe especially once I get a little closer to being caught up on the in-depth books, I might go ahead and jump in with this, because I think that this potentially could be another mystery series for me to enjoy for a couple of years. Okay, and then just 3 more from Book Outlet. So first of all, I got this really cool anniversary edition of A Darker Shade of Magic. Now I have the other 2, oh, they're kind of blocked right now, but I have the other 2 in physical form, and this is the only one that I've read so far in the series. I really enjoyed it. Now, does it bother me slightly that this is in black and not in white like the other 2? If I'm being honest, it does, but I decided I was more into having the anniversary edition because I think there's like some illustrations and stuff in it. I decided I just wanted to have the anniversary edition, and so I'm sacrificing the matchingness of the series on my shelf to have the collector's edition. So yeah, I'm excited to have this. Now I have the entire series in physical form, so that satisfies the completist in me. And then 2 more nonfiction things from Book Outlet, and both of these I think were just a couple of dollars. One is the official Nora Roberts companion. This was written I think in like 2003, so it doesn't even have like, I mean, we're missing like 15 years of her work, but I honestly was just sort of curious about this and to see what they had to say about her at the time. Like, does this match what like I think about her now? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this is sort of a reference thing. But anyway, I was sort of intrigued by what this might be like. And as you can tell by the glare, it has this cool like pearlized quality, like vinyl-y quality to the cover. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of fun. And then finally, Mad as Hell, The Making of Network and the Fateful Vision of the Angriest Man in Movies. Network is a top 5 movie for me of all time. I absolutely adore that movie. If you have never seen it, please go watch it and then just be like, how did they predict our future in 1975? It is so prescient. It is like fantastic. So yeah, I just really love that movie. So I thought someday I would probably enjoy reading like kind of an oral history of it. Okay, there you have it. Another unreasonably large book haul, but I'm really stoked by some of the things that came into my collection this month, things that I've been thinking about getting for a long time, some like Kismet at the used bookstore, a gift, like just all around. This was like a really good month of acquisitions for me, and actually I read so much this month, which you will see on Monday, that actually I had a net reduction in my collection in terms of like unread books or books I got rid of because I had read them. So yeah, there's that too. I think I already mentioned this briefly in this video, but I do just want to say, because this is the first time I'm filming since this happened, I did hit 1,000 subscribers, and like, oh my gosh, the emotions. I cannot believe this happened in my first year. I thought that was such a stretch goal. At the beginning of this year, I think I had like 200 subscribers. So I've gotten 800 of you people on board in the last 6 months, and like, I'm so like, every new person who comes into this little corner of BookTube with me, like, this becomes more and more fun. So I'll have more to say about that in my wrap up in terms of like what I'm going to be doing to celebrate, but thank you so much. And I hope like you'll stick around and continue to grow with me, because yeah, this has just been so much fun, and it gets more and more fun the more people who join in. So thanks to you guys, and like I said, I'll have some more things to say about that on Monday, but for now I think that will do it. So I hope you're having a really awesome day. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below. Yeah, I think that will do it. I hope you're having a good one, and I will talk to you later. Bye!